Hello, guys. Welcome. Was gonna say back, realized this is the first episode of my new podcast, Humanity. I am your host, Marieli, and today's topic is you did your part, and that's enough. Whether it's in friendships, relationships, or any situation, ship, you did your part, and that's enough. So let's get to it. So, I will be basing this episode mainly towards relationships. I think that is such a big one, specifically at my age. I would say I'm currently 18 and just a girl. Just kidding. Don't take that. So, I think that a lot of the times we feel like doing bare minimum is more than okay. I'm here to tell you that that is not true. That is not true. Whoever told you lied. So, I think when it comes to relationships or friendships, um, it takes two people. It takes two people to make it work. It took two people to make it. It's gonna take two to make it work. And I think that we always hear this theory of 50-50, but that's incorrect. I would say 100% from both parts is what truly makes a relationship work out. There's also many common misconceptions of that men should be doing this, and that, and the women's role is to do this, and that. Well, something that I learned the hard way was that women were raised only knowing how men should treat them, never how a woman should treat a man. Let that sink in. Trust me, it hurt me too. So I think the way that I was raised, I grew up with my parents pretty comfortable with each other. Um, I would say loved. Lots of love. Lots of love shared. Me and my siblings, middle child of three. But I think growing up seeing how comfortable my parents were, it changed something in the way that I saw love. I've always seen love as something comfortable. But when you let a relationship get comfortable, one of the worst things you could possibly do. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel comfortable with your partner. 100% you should. But when you stop trying to have your partner love you because, oh, well, I already have them. Can't go anywhere now. Like, already shared all of this and there's really nothing left to do. There is so much you can do. And I'm not talking materialistic. And yes, it is nice. Maybe a small date once in a while planned by either or of you. Flowers, gifts, small gestures, whatever your love language is. I'm talking about emotionally being there. When you have a partner that is not emotionally there, I can guarantee you that that relationship is done for. Unless, like me, making the common mistake, which is perfectly natural, of having so much hope that people will change. I'm gonna give you in a little secret. A person will only change if they want to be changed. Same way, a person will only be helped if they want to be helped. You cannot change nor help someone who doesn't want it. Hard truth. Learned it the hard way. I would say the same goes with friendships, honestly. I would say that friendships and relationships are very similar in the way that it takes two. Maybe it takes three or four, depending the friend group. But regardless, doing your part is so important. It is so important. And let me tell you why. I have always grown up being the kind of person that, or I guess, reword, I have always grown up being told that you do things because it naturally comes to you. If you want to be a good person, that's because it naturally comes from you. If you do good gestures, it naturally comes from you. And that you shouldn't expect anything, which is true. It is true. But I think being young and naive, something that I've always failed to learn, like I said, perfectly okay, still a girl, still young, have a whole life ahead of me, with many mistakes to come. I think that a lot of the times it hurts me so much that I would never do something that someone has done to me in a harmful way. The idea of I would have never done this to you is, I think, one of the hardest things to accept, come to terms with, and apply, honestly. Because a lot of the times we see it more as a negative, like, oh, like, I would have never done this to you. But hey, you would have never done that to someone. Find comfort in that. Congrats, you're a good human being and you have a heart. And I'm not saying that if you unfortunately messed up with somebody, that you're a bad human being, that you don't have a heart, and that there's just a bottomless pit in your heart or stomach or wherever in your mind. That's not what I'm saying. I think consideration is important, and that's the whole point of this. It's consideration. I was told a few days ago, was going through a rough thing with one of my closest friends, vented to somebody about it, was told that I am a person that hangs on to so much hope, which isn't a bad thing, so they say. But I think that I have never been put in a situation with a person where I didn't have hope that they would change. I think no matter how many friends or people that stood by me telling me, F them, or you'll find somebody better, or you wouldn't do that to somebody, so like F them, or again, I have never been a person, rephrase, not gonna say never, we're honest here, but recently I've noticed that I no longer am easily influenced by people like that. Which is why I say your circle is very important. Who you surround yourself is very important. Because ultimately, you will end up the same way as the people who are around you. Luckily, so far, I have made so much sure that I don't let that happen to me. So oh my gosh, this is why I question even doing a podcast. I get so off track. But anyways, like I was saying, that I am a person that hangs on to too much hope if it's false and outside of reality. Have I been told that's a negative? Yes. Yes, I have. Did I ever listen? No, I didn't. Because who am I without hope? Yes, I would have never done that to someone, and that's okay. Thank God I didn't do that to somebody. Thank God. Hope is so beautiful. Regardless if it's false, far from the truth, and so outside of reality, hope is what makes you the person that you are. I always like to put myself in somebody's shoes that I'm struggling with to keep hope and believe in. If I were in that person's shoes, I would want forgiveness. I would want for someone to believe that I could change and that I could be saved. Not everyone's gonna think like you. Learn that the hard way. And that's okay too. Not everybody's gonna think like you. Which is why it's good to be a hopeful person, but remind yourself, not everybody's going to think like you. You may have never done that to someone, would never do that to someone, but find comfort in knowing that you would never do that to somebody. I remember coming home from school, crying to my mom that yet again I lost another friend. And my mom, obviously being my mom, like, no, don't worry about them. You'll find new people. They weren't your friends either way, things like that. But I could not find comfort in that. I genuinely questioned if it was something that I was doing wrong. Later, found out part of it was, which is why change is good, which is why I believe in change. I started to see the way that I was in friendships, the whole concept of I would have never done that to you, and why can't you think like me? Why can't you be as considerate as me and things like that? Because not everybody is going to think like you. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us different. If you were to think the exact same, be the exact same, ultimately, you'd clash. That's life. And I think I've also noticed a lot of the times when you know that a friendship isn't for you, your whole life will literally turn upside down the moment you start being friends with this person. Speaking from past experience, I've had friendships where they could be the bestest friend ever, but for some reason, things started going good for them, and everything turned upside down for you. And the moment you stop being friends, ta-da, your life is back to normal, and if not, better. And it's not to sit here and say that maybe that person was just evil or had negative energy or any of this, which could be the cases sometimes, but a lot of the times it's just you outgrow people. People change. Time goes by. Maybe you weren't destined to be friends, and that's okay too. This mainly goes out to the people that feel like they're alone or don't have any friends. It's okay to be alone too. Listen what I'm about to say though. Yes, it's okay to be alone, but don't let yourself stay there. Don't close the doors on opportunities of getting to know new people, because I can promise you that out there somebody is searching for a partner, a best friend, or a person like you, trying to be somebody like you, which I think everybody should be their own person, but there's nothing wrong with looking up to people. There's nothing wrong with wanting to change. Change is free. It's free. And it's there anytime you want. This is the beauty. I think that every day that we wake up, we're given an opportunity to start over. Let's say we're talking from the perspective of the person that messed up. You're human. It's your first time living too. Now, if this is something that you do with a lot of conscience, and you purposely want to make people feel bad, maybe you should start thinking about ways to change. And if that's not the case, then every day that you wake up, you're given a new opportunity to change. It's also not nice to remind somebody of how they used to be if you see that there's been growth. Guilty. I've done that to people. It's been done to me. And the saddest part is that I didn't realize it till it was too late. But it's never too late. Because that chapter with people that I unfortunately messed up with came to an end, but that doesn't stop there. My life is still going on. Every day you wake up, you are given a new opportunity to start over. I saw somewhere on TikTok, and I'm not gonna lie and try and be niche and say that I read this somewhere because I didn't, but I saw this TikTok saying, when life goes good, don't wear your sadness like it's a badge of honor, and allow yourself to live that good moment. I stand by that completely. I think a lot of the times we ourselves dig our own grave. Little intense, but it's true. A lot of the times we build a city, a story in our head that's not true. That's overthinking, my friends. It's natural. It's gonna happen. But remind yourself, a lot of the times, if you feel like the world is, oh my gosh, I was about to quote Timothy. How is it? The world isn't coming at you. I'll put it somewhere here. But it's true. It's true. Lastly, I want to talk about this. I think that messing up is the beauty of being a human. There's so many times where I pray and I beg that we would just skip to the good part in my life, to the part where I have a beautiful set of friends, an amazing partner, super rich, all of this. I'm a doctor. But then I wouldn't be able to look back at how far I have come. When somebody isn't as considerate as you, yes, it hurts. But you wouldn't be who you are today if those experiences hadn't happened. Does it feel like the world is ending? Yes, but it's not ending. That chapter is ending. A new one is to come. A new person will roll around. A new partner, a new friend, a complete stranger. And yet again, you will give yourself fully. Don't let negative friendships, ex-relationships stop you from being you. If you're a hopeful person like me, if you cry a lot like me, that's me. That's you. Everybody's different, and everybody will take this video differently. And so I'll finish with this. No matter in what kind of relationship, friendship, give it your all. Give 100%. Now, I'm not saying if you're normally a person who gives 70, 50, 30, or even 1%, that you're not as valuable. But find comfort, peace, and walk away knowing that you did your part, and that's enough. Okay, guys, that's the end of today's episode. Wanted to keep it a little short for the first one, but I hope you guys liked it. Know it's a little over the place. What can I say? It's my first time. But I hope this is something that continues. Hope this is something that you guys like. And we'll see what happens. Remember, humanity is so beautiful. Don't forget it. Bye, guys.